Thanks for joining us on News Blitz. I am Mercy Frank. Before we begin, remember, coronavirus is a deadly disease. Ensure to wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds regularly under running water or use a hand sanitizer. Also remember, COVID-19 is real and swift in its spread. Social distancing is one of the ways to avoid it. Now we'll begin with updates on the coronavirus, as 86 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in Nigeria. 70 were recorded in Lagos, 7 in FCT, 3 in Katsina, 1 in Jigawa, 1 each in Bauchi and Borno states. Nigeria now has 627 confirmed cases, 170 discharged and 21 deaths. And now the Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akinbayomi, says over 1 million households have been reached through the government's active case search of COVID-19, and about 1,074 persons were found with symptoms related to the virus, while 3 active cases were recorded so far through the house-to-house reach. To strengthen its fight against coronavirus in Lagos, the state government will, in the coming weeks, open up 4 new isolation centers across the state. Correspondent Funke Adesoji reports.
New knowledge.
Speaking during an update on COVID-19 in the state, the Commissioner for Health explained that these new facilities are the 70-bed space center in Landmark, Etiosa, 160-bed space in Bagada, a new isolation tent of 150 bed spaces, and a permanent isolation facility with 300-bed space both in Yaba. The Commissioner said highest active cases were recorded in Lagos mainland, Ikeja and Etiosa, with no recorded cases in Ajeromi, Felodun, Ekpe and Ojo, and no cluster infection in Alimosho local government area.
We've been increasing our testing capacity dramatically at the outset of the outbreak because of the complexity of the test. Our turnaround time for a test was between 24 and 48 hours to get a result. As of now, a test is available same day. If you have COVID-19 infection and you are due for an operation, the doctors will decide which is the priority. If your surgery is a life-saving procedure, then there will be a combination of management of the COVID infection along with the surgical intervention to ensure that we save your life from the surgical intervention that's required.
The Commissioner, while urging Lagosians to apply protective measures, said the state has recorded 306 cases, 93 recovery and discharge cases, and 14 deaths so far.
About 80% of patients infected with COVID-19 will display either no symptoms or very mild symptoms. So our healthcare professionals will always be at risk. In fact, community is at risk if you don't practice social distancing. But our personnel in our hospitals are trained in infection prevention control, and therefore they should be managing all patients with the universal precautions.
As from next week, you are going to see increased information and enlightenment about social distancing, since the experts have told us that this remains the only antidote to this terrible disease.
The State Health Commissioner said with the preventive strategies for COVID-19 put in place by the government, such as active case search and awareness, increased testing, increased isolation centers, and enforcing social distancing, the state should flatten the curve in time, imploring Lagos residents to imbibe these strategies for a swift way out of the pandemic. Funke Adesoji, reporting for Civil Bed News 24.
The Inner City Mission for Children, a non-governmental organization which is a member of the Chris Oyakhilome Foundation International, has made donations for food items to the Lagos State government to help cushion the effect of the lockdown on residents of the state. Presenting the items at the Lagos State Agricultural Development Authority office, the NGO says the global coronavirus pandemic has reached dangerous dimensions with an inevitable adverse effect on virtually all areas of human endeavor. Therefore, the need to assist the Lagos State government at this crucial time. Correspondent Babajide Lee reports.
As more than 20 million residents of Lagos continue to be placed on lockdown in a bid to curtail the spread of the coronavirus, the most vulnerable within the state remains the worst hit, as they lack access to means of livelihood. While the government is trying to put measures in place to curb the spread of the virus, the needy have to face the enemy at home, which is hunger. This is why the Inner City Mission for Children is partnering with the Lagos State government to distribute food items so as to contribute to the government's response plan.
In this truck behind me, we have 2,000 food packages that we're going to be distributing, emergency food packages that will be distributing in 27 locations, inner city communities and vulnerable communities, as well as 10 identified most vulnerable orphanages on the border towns between Lagos and Ogun states.
With the NGO already identifying areas to share the food packs, the state government says it will be adequately distributed.
Inner City Mission will also help with the distribution of these packages. So they are not the only one. There are so many other organizations that are doing that on behalf of the state. We don't know it all. We are a state, but we believe in collaboration, collective effort. That is the only way we believe a lot of Lagosians will face the negative externality that the lockdown triggered. We believe we will be able to bring a lot of economic succor by providing food palliatives to Lagosians.
I'm calling on all civil societies and organizations, well-meaning Nigerians all around the world really, to wake up and hear the cry of the needy, hear the cry of children. They are all around us. Don't turn and walk away. They are on the streets and they need our help at this time.
With the assistance of NGOs like this and the state government's commitment to curbing this scourge, the goal is to ensure that indigent children and families are safe and fed, even as the world fights against COVID-19. Babaj Daily, Silverbird News 24, Lagos.
The household items, including food and other confectionaries worth over 60 million naira, have been donated as palliatives to 3 states of Lagos, Ogun, Plateau, and the Federal Capital Territory by NASCO Group as they battle the scourge of COVID-19. Now announcing the donation at his corporate headquarters in Jos, Executive Director of NASCO Group said the items include top-quality products to be handed over in Jos, Lagos, and Abuja to their respective governments. Correspondent Alfred Mangai has more.
The global spread of COVID-19 has been unprecedented, and efforts to contain its spread mean a disruption of the normal ways of life of many. Lagos, Ogun, and the Federal Capital Territory are currently under lockdown, following orders of President Muhammadu Buhari, and so many other states have taken similar precautionary measures to limit the spread of the virus. The implication of the lockdown is the need to give palliatives to the poor and vulnerable in the society. As part of its corporate support to work being done by state and non-state actors in response to the pandemic, NASCO Group announced a donation of items worth a combined final retail value of about 60 million naira.
NASCO, in its own little way, are giving a contribution to the whole nation in financial terms and material terms. And we hope that we reach to the right hands, the right people. And these are humble contribution towards the fight of COVID-19.
Large consignment of NASCO products, including detergents, cornflakes, biscuits and disinfectants, were loaded in 6 lorries for onward delivery to some of the states currently under lockdown.
It's going to Lagos, Jos, Abuja, and Ogun, and the items include food, like nourishing food, biscuit for the children, Champion, other types of biscuit, cornflakes, detergent, hand wash.
According to the Jos-based industrialists, the action detergent will help in cleaning surfaces and the maintenance of hygiene, while NASCO cornflakes will feed persons in COVID-19 isolation centers in Lagos, Ogun, and the FCT, as well as other vulnerable persons in internally displaced persons camps. The items will also be distributed to the Jos University Teaching Hospital and the Plateau State Specialist Hospital. In addition to these items, NASCO Group has made a cash donation of 10 million naira to the federal government COVID-19 response initiative. From Jos, Alfred Mangay. Silverbird News 24.
The National Center for Disease Control has listed that Ekiti State has recorded a new case, making it the third case in the state. With development, the state's COVID-19 task force, while updating journalists on the new positive case, confirmed the identity of the patient and said the state government would consider stricter measures in containing the virus, considering the rationale that led to the new case in the state. Oyetunji Ojo reports.
On Friday, April 17th, the Ekiti State government declared that there is 0 case of coronavirus in the state. But few hours after that, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control announced a new positive case in the state, making it the third recorded, in which the first 2 cases had earlier been discharged after treatments and tested negative. This new case forced the state government to summon an emergency security meeting with members of the state COVID-19 task force, basically on the rationale the patient gained entry into the state.
This new case is a pregnant 29-year-old female community health worker in Ikorodu, Lagos State, who sneaked into Ekiti State overnight on Friday, April 10, 2020, suspectedly to take advantage of our free maternal health.
Governor Fayemi says over 30 primary contacts has been identified, while all medical facilities the patient visited had been fumigated and medical personnel at those centers placed on isolation.
New case. Government may have to consider further extension of the lockdown, at least until all possible direct and indirect contacts of this woman have been traced and placed in isolation.
He urged residents of the state to cooperate with government to get rid of coronavirus in Ekiti State.
Strategy where there will be complete surveillance, we will go around day and night, we will try to enlighten our men, and I can assure you that anybody that falls short of the professional standard would have his own case to answer themselves.
Due to the governor, this new case will be putting hundreds of unsuspecting persons at risk of COVID-19 infection in the state if urgent steps were not taken. From Ado Ekiti, Oyetunji Ojo, Silverbird News 24.
Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi on Saturday night imposed a curfew between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. daily in the state. He directed security agencies and the anti-coronavirus task force to arrest anybody found outside his or her residence outside this period. Governor Umahi in a broadcast ordered a restriction throughout the state from Sunday, April 19, 2020. The governor, however, exempted those offering essential services such as health workers, security agents, and media workers, who, according to him, must have pass or permit. And the Rivers State government has released the 22 staff of ExxonMobil who were arrested for violating the state executive order restricting movement in the state. And the state Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Professor Zacchaeus Adango, said the Mobil staff were released without charges. He said the state government will no longer press charges against them, adding that they were released following interventions by well-meaning Nigerians. The Attorney General noted that the Rivers State government remains committed to implementing the executive order issued to check the spread of coronavirus. And still in Rivers State, the government has confirmed the presence of a huge number of dead fishes along the seashores of Finima in Boni and Oyoro in Andoni local government areas. The Commissioner for Environment, Dr. Igbigs Tamuno, confirmed this after the king of one of the communities where the strange incident happened presented a formal report to the government. Correspondent Ephraim Emmanuel reports.
3 days ago, the people of Finima and Oyorokoto woke up to see a mass of dead fishes littered on the coastlines near their communities. As people known for fishing, this occurrence is strange, and all the efforts to hazard a guess as to what led to it did not bring any results. As the concerns mount up in the areas, a leader of the Lighthouse Fishing Settlement in Boni local government area wants the government to act fast to not only prevent an outbreak of diseases, but to bring any end to the strange death.
We are suspecting that there might be something of a chemical based on rumor. I will call it rumor, we have been hearing that there are some companies that use some sort of chemical to try to rub their pipe so that you will not have ulcers. This yes, corrosion on the pipe. So we are suspecting that this that type of chemical might be the cause. And if you look at the species of fishes, the brook marriage, they almost at times they all cohabit or they live around that area, around the pipeline area.
At a media briefing in Port Harcourt, the River State government says it is on top of the matter. Commissioner for Environment explains that the ministry has sent samples of the dead fishes to the laboratory for investigation.
We do not as at now know the cause. Now, a couple of theories may go around, but we are yet to really get the reports of the results, the sample results we sent to some laboratories. What we want to do is that at the end of today, we want to get a factual report, toxicology report. We want to know exactly, first and foremost, whether there are poisonous materials in the fishes or maybe some materials that are related to oil activities.
While the results of that investigation is being awaited, the bigger concern is how to keep the locals from picking the fishes, either for eating or sales to the public. Ephraim Emmanuel, Silverbird News 24, Port Harcourt.
The Nigerian Armed Forces of Nigeria has killed several Boko Haram terrorists and destroyed a logistics facility within the heart of the Sambisa forest in Borno State. The airstrike conducted after a series of day and night intelligence confirmed that makeshift structures hidden under the dense vegetation of the area was used to store logistics and house their fighters. Consequently, the Air Task Force dispatched its fighter jets to attack the hideout. Post-strike battle damage assessment showed that the logistics facility was engulfed in flames. The news continues shortly. Stay with us.
You can now stream Silverbird News 24 live on mobile app. All you need to do is to download Silverbird News 24 app from Google Play Store on your Android devices and App Store or on your Apple devices. Tap the live button at the bottom bar to watch us live 24/7. You can enjoy all our news programs, including Pigeon News and program. Silverbird News 24. The news never stops.
And on the foreign scene, the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is aiming to relax the lockdown rule in the country on the 27th of April so that children can get some fresh air. The children have been kept indoors since the 14th of March under strict measures to curb the spread of COVID-19. The Prime Minister in a televised briefing said Spain has left behind the most extreme moment and contained the brutal onslaught of the pandemic. Spain has seen more than 20,000 deaths since the start of the pandemic and almost 200,000 reported cases. And New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has signed an order allowing online marriages as many weddings are cancelled under lockdown restrictions. People in the U.S. state will be able to apply for marriage licenses remotely and clerks allowed to conduct ceremonies virtually. Mr. Cuomo joked that the decision meant that there was no excuse for couples not to tie the knot. The decision comes after the New York state extended lockdown measures until 15th May. More than 13,000 people have died of coronavirus in New York City alone. And up next is entertainment news.
Nigerian music star Banky W has joined some of his mates in the entertainment industry to cater for the poor, especially during these hard times. He recently joined other capable Nigerians to feed the poor in some parts of Lagos. Since the lockdown order issued by the government, several celebrities have in one way or the other helped the less privileged with food items and financial support. The music star turned politician took to his Twitter handle where he shared some photos of the event. The Montreal Jazz Festival will not be held in July due to the coronavirus pandemic, the first time the Swiss Summer Festival has not taken place since its launch in 1967. According to the organizers, the government is keeping most hygiene and social distancing measures in place for now. It is impossible to consider holding an event on such a scale. The 2 weeks festival, which takes place in Lake Geneva, draws nearly 250,000 people. Lionel Richie and Lenny Kravitz were among those booked to play this year. AMC Entertainment Holdings, the world's largest theater operator, has said it had enough cash balance to withstand a global suspension of operations until a partial reopening in July as the U.S. government plans to reopen the country's economy. AMC said its business could be affected on reopening if disruptions caused by the virus lead to changes in consumer behavior, including social distancing or favoring alternative forms of entertainment. AMC has put many employees on leave, including their chief executive officer, Adam Aron. Some workers will see reduced hours and reduced pay, while others will be cut to no hours and no pay. Anthony Abraham, Silverbird News 24.
Welcome back. And in sports news, Brooklyn Nets guard Spencer Dinwiddie is set to switch allegiance from the United States to Nigeria ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics scheduled for next year. Dinwiddie is in the process of acquiring a Nigerian passport to be eligible to play for the Nigerian national team, the Tigers. The NBA star seemed to confirm his intention Saturday on his Twitter handle when he responded to the report saying they now all know. Dinwiddie, despite finishing 10th in All-Star voting for Eastern Conference guards and recording a career-high 41 points in December, was left out of the Team USA finalist for the Olympics. And Nigerian Basketball Federation has expressed its sadness over the death of one of the rising prospects in the country's basketball scene, Deborah Onu. NBBF Secretary General Olabisi Afolabi Oluwayemi said the young Onu died in the early hours of Saturday at an Abuja-based hospital due to complications from tuberculosis of the spine. Afolabi Oluwayemi, while briefing the board, stated that the Federation least expected the tragic news as Onu was reportedly responded to treatment after undergoing surgery. On his part, the NBBF president, Musa Kida, who was distraught by the news, lamented the loss of the promising and talented basketball players at such an unripe age. And Roma Chief Executive Guido Fienga has praised his players' superb gesture after they volunteered to forgo 4 months' salary to help the club during the coronavirus pandemic. The players' manager, Paulo Fonseca, and his staff will also pay the difference to ensure all club staff placed on furlough receive their full salary. Led by Captain Edin Zeko and team, Fonseca approached Roma's hierarchy to inform the club of the decision. Fienga said by volunteering to cut the salaries for the rest of the season, the players, the coach, and the staff have approved that everyone rally together. And that's it on News Blitz. Thanks for watching. But before we go, remember coronavirus is a deadly disease. Ensure to wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds under running water regularly, or use a hand sanitizer. Remember, COVID-19 is real and swift in its spread. Social distancing is one of the ways to avoid it. I am Mercy Frank. Bye for now.